So, you guys, I was doing some deep pondering today, or whatever, what have you, and I was thinking about why I struggle convincing myself. Like, I just feel like I'm the only one who doesn't think that like dating is like a priority, you know? And I hope I don't offend my male followers or whatever with this. I'm in my gross lighting spot. I'm trying to fix it with this thing I found at TJ Maxx. I don't know, because the magnet's not working. So I'm holding it. Oh. So yeah, like hopefully I have like something. I'm trying to like put it together or whatever, my substance. So to the point, I was thinking about like I like low key don't think that I'm sorry. I like low key don't think that marriage is like that I believe in marriage. I'm not one of those people who doesn't believe in marriage. I fully believe in marriage. I just don't think that it's practical, especially in this day and age where here's the thing, because I was thinking about like the history of it, right? Like I was thinking about like the timeline of it. I believe in marriage. You know, I just don't think that it should be pushed on us the way that it is. I think that it being pushed on us is kind of outdated. I don't think, and I'm not questioning, and you know, I'm not even sure if it shouldn't be pushed on us because marriage is essential to like the continuation of the human race. So it's like if you don't get married and stuff, that's like, because marriage, an ideal situation to have kids is like a situation where both parties are married to each other. Like it's really not good for the kids when that's not the case. I can't like whatever. Anyways, so like if you see my thing, I know you see it. I know. Whoop. But like I'm trying. But yeah, like that's the best situation is if you know, as if sorry, as if both parties are married. You know, it's like it's a mess when like, you know, two people aren't married, they're having kids and it's like not stable and you're just like, you know, creating a bunch of people who aren't stable in the population, and that's not good. So the best scenario for having kids is to put them in a stable environment, which is marriage. And if you don't have marriage, then you don't have kids, and then, you know, the human race dies out. So I was gonna say like, you know, marriage shouldn't be pushed on us, but then it's like, you know, like then that's like not good for the continuation of the human race, yada yada. So I was thinking about it. So marriage started off in such a way that women didn't have rights. And I think it actually affected both men and women negatively that women didn't have rights. You know, so women would you know, go along with marriage because there is at one point it's like, you know, it was like, and not even that long ago when you think about it, women couldn't even have like credit cards in their name. You know, you literally, there's no other option but to get married. And when it's such a way that it's like, you know, it's hard for women to get by even in the slightest way without latching onto a man, you know, in that situation, that's kind of like a desperate situation. And you're going to so you will, number one, as a woman, number one, you will marry anybody. And number two, when you do get with that person, you will let a lot of crap slide because you literally have no choice. You don't have any rights, you know? So, you know, I think women let men cheat and let men be gay, you know, stuff like that, and let men be incredibly selfish. And, you know, a dude would like do some gay stuff, you know, look the other way. You know, the dude would cheat on her, look the other way. He, like, you know, found out like he had kids with someone else, look the other way. You know, like the guy would be like selfish and show all the signs in the world that he does not give a crap about her or his family, look the other way. Because what choice did she have? You know, there is literally no other option. And the way that this affected men negatively is that, you know, character development. So, you know, if you're in a situation where it's very easy for you to get married and women will take any type of behavior from you, there is no there's no motive. Like, why would you fix your behavior? Why would you be like, gee, I'm kind of only thinking about myself, you know, like stuff like that, you know? Why would you be like, why would you like take measures not to cheat, um, if you're just going to get away with it? Because the female party, is so desperate to have someone, you know? So I think that because of it, even though now women have rights, men have been, you think about like men were raised by the generations before them, you know? So the generations before them, the men of the generations before them, had these types of women who were very dependent on them because society was such a way that women didn't have any rights, that, they're used to just getting away with being selfish and yada yada and cheating and all this stuff. And that's why, this whole thing, I don't know if it's true or not, but this whole thing where all men cheat is because, even though women have rights now, and this is what I'm going to get into, it's a new thing that women have rights now, and we can now leverage and be like, hey, I don't want to put up with this. But, the men of today are being raised by the men of the generations before, where it was very easy for them to get married because women were in a desperate situation where they literally had no rights. So they could get away with cheating very easily because it's like, what's she going to do? Like it was kind of a situation where women were very much trapped into marriage because they did not have rights. So yeah, if you find, like, in that situation, you find out your husband's cheating, what are you really going to do? They could fully get away with it. I think it goes beyond male nature and stuff like that. I think that men being, like, sexually perverted and stuff like that got worse because they could get away with stuff. So when you could get away with certain behaviors, that meaning it's very easy for you to indulge in these behaviors, you're going to become more perverted. And yeah, that already is kind of their nature. But the fact that they could get away with it makes it worse. I think that they could get away with it is because women, as I said, were desperate. They were in a desperate situation because they literally had no rights unless they had a husband, and that was just the way that it was. So the men today are being raised by the men of those generations. So even though women have rights now, and women don't need to get married now, and women can have credit cards in their names and all that now, like men are kind of still being raised by the generations before. And like, so they're still selfish, and they're still going around cheating and thinking they can get away with it. And I think that they can actually in a lot of situations, because even though women have rights now, I think like we're still being affected by the way that things once were, where it's still even though women don't need to get married, they're still being pushed to get married because that's just the nature of things because of how things always were. So there always will be a woman who will look the other way just because women are trained to be very male-centered. And that's just kind of how society works, no matter how many rights women have. But yeah, like men are, like, the reason I say this is because, like, I think that there are very few, and I'm not discrediting, like, women can be psychotic. Like, women can absolutely be psychotic. I've talked about how I've been harassed more by women and targeted more by women than I have by men, and in worse ways too. So I'm not, like, excusing women, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, marriage and stuff like that, women tend to be more well-behaved in marriage. Like, men are more well-behaved in the workplace. Women are well-behaved in marriage with men. So, like, even though there's a lot of psychotic women, they make better partners generally. So that's what I wanted to say is, like, I don't know if I'm going to have to make a part two, is that, like, it's unrealistic, I think, to go about the world and be like, oh, I want to get married, because there are so few eligible people who are really suited for marriage. And I think, like, from the women's perspective, like, men are generally very selfish and they cheat a lot and stuff like that because of just the way things have been set up throughout history.